ask you if any documentation you want me to...
No, this is good. I honestly, a lot of this is us weaving around.
I mean, sort of, yeah, right.
Yeah, there's some mandatory landmarks we need to approach, but
Okay.
yeah.
Did we do your landmarks yet? Or?
Yeah, we're going through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You could take this with
yeah, I mean,
concept to you.
Appreciate it.
On a group truck.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. If they wants companies, well, you'll see.
I imagine it's far more nuanced than headlines and bullet points.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
When you're rolling.
Is it okay to have the cup here, or does that really look bad?
What if you put it right here instead of right here, and we just
does that work?
a little bit? Is that better?
Oh, over here?
That might be ideal.
Yeah, that's great.
Perfect.
Oh, great. But I can still.
Aquarium's perfect. Where do we leave off? Jackson, anti-Semitic discrimination is what you were saying.
No.
Nope.
We were on to, although we go off on tangents. We will get back to Jackson about do we do things for non-Jews also?
Non-Gentile philanthropy.
Right, meaning Jewish philanthropy to
Help non-Jews.
Non-Jews, yes. And by the way, I can show what I do. There's tons of it all across the country, tons of it. So, okay, so I can give you stories. I don't think you're going to want to hear the stories. Quick stories?
Yeah, bullet pointed.
Okay.
You can spark notes in a bit.
I used to get a car service if I wanted to take a car somewhere, and there was a driver named Hal, regular American, big guy. He's like 6'4", maybe 280, and solid guy.
Yeah.
Solid guy. And drove many times. And he came to me, he said he needed money. He said, really, he's desperate for money. He said, he'll pay me back. So he needed $1,000. So I gave him $1,000. I hope this is on your video. Everybody, don't come to me, okay?
Okay. He will not give you $1,000.
Right.
Did you charge him interest?
No.
Boom.
So then Hal moved away to Texas. And, okay, it is what it is. Thank God I get $1,000 for me. It's not, I'm not, here and there. About 2 years later, the doorbell rings. I open the door, and there's Hal with his long ponytail. We always had a ponytail, big strappy guy. And he has $100 bills rolled up. And he says, here, I want to pay you back the money I borrowed from you. And I said, Hal, I love you, just keep it. He started to cry. He broke down crying. And he said nobody ever gave him anything. To me, and as Jews, Orthodox Jews, we find that so sad and pathetic.
The lack of support network in many Gentile circles, right?
We take care of people.
Yeah.
And my MMA instructor, George Sullivan, also, I helped him out with something. He was also on the verge of tears. By the way, if you want to talk to George, I can put him on the phone. He'll tell you. And he said the same thing. He said nobody ever gave me anything. And I'm thinking, what? His father had been in the mafia. I think his father was Irish. I think maybe Sullivan's an Irish name, but he was in one of the 5 Italian mafia families, and he went to prison for like 30 years. I don't know what the crime was. And so George was raised largely without his father, wanted nothing to do with his father. His father tried to offer George many times to go into the mafia. George wanted nothing to do with it. George is a sweet, honest, hardworking guy who supports his family, multiple jobs, and wanted nothing to do with it. But remember, this guy's fought in the UFC 7 times. He is tough as can be. And when I gave this to him, he needed help us, his financial help, something to help him out. He also went to tears that nobody ever helped him out. Sad. Anyway, that's other stories. Okay.
That's a symptom of a bigger fundamental cultural difference, right?
Yes.
To your guys' credit, there's a large support network for one another in the Jewish circles, and at times it bleeds over to guys like you mentioned. But internally, right, you guys look out for one another.
Giving charity is one of the 613 commandments. And Rambam, who lived around the 1100s, one of the most famous genius commentators on the Torah of all time, every Orthodox Jew knows Rambam. the very last law that he goes through before we talk about the coming of the Messiah is giving charity to non-Jews.
To non-Jews.
Right, the one right
Why?
before Messiah.
Why is that important?
Well, it's not a matter whether it's important or not important. It's a law. It's a law. So if it's a law, we do it. See, we can go through all the Jewish laws and try to come up with ideas as to why.
That's it.
What's that? No, we can come up with ideas as to why it's good to do.
Sure.
But we do it because God told us to do it in the Torah.
Okay.
Now, the Talmud, which was given orally and then written down around the year 400 or so, out of fear that it would be lost because so many Jews were being killed at the time that we thought it might be lost. It was written down. That has a lot of, it's 5,500 pages of dense material expanding upon all those laws plus other historical things. So for example, in the Torah, in the 5 books of Moses, it says only eat meat that is slaughtered in a kosher way. But they don't tell you what the kosher way of slaughtering is. That's in the Talmud.
Understood.
Okay. And then there might be different rabbis who, and again, I don't know if this applies to the kosher slaughtering laws because of all the different laws. Maybe different rabbis made different statements from back then, and then what did this one mean and what did that one mean? How do you reconcile them? And that logical derivation is what the Talmud is full of, all these logical arguments, which is why a boy can go to just yeshiva, just learn Torah, and go straight to Harvard Law School. Not medical school. Medical school, you have to know physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, but they can go to law school and they do tremendously well because they know how to think logically through all the possibilities. That's what they're trained in.
Okay.
So anyway, but in terms of things that I've done for non-Jews, the Lakewood Police Department, which is not made of non-Jews, they told me, the chief of police told me that when they go to serve a warrant on somebody, the police go in basically a milk truck that has the sides painted, and someone could shoot straight through it. I thought it was ridiculous. So I bought them an armored personnel carrier. It was $255,000.
That's a beast.
And here is the captain of the captain of the Lakewood Police Department at the time.
That's cool.
Saying, emailed to me. I prefer his email address doesn't work anymore because he's retired. So I'll show it to you.
Sure.
But he said, I highlighted, thank you for your concern for the safety of our officers and your generosity that allowed for the purchase of the Lemco Bearcat. That's called a Lemco brand Bearcat.
Okay.
A project that I worked on for many years but feared would never come to fruition.
That's very nice of you.
So just, not Jewish, but when I heard that our police officers are putting themselves in danger like that. And by the way, they told me it saved a life because they went to serve a warrant on an arms dealer here in Lakewood, not an Orthodox Jew, right? They went with this armored personnel carrier, and they were ready to shoot it out with him. And the arms dealer came out. When he spoke to the police, we arrested him. He said, "I was going to shoot it out with you, but when I heard you show up with that tank, I decided not to fight."
Okay, you saved a life.
Can I show something else?
Please.
I sponsored thousands of care packages being sent to our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. And then a Marine group from the U.S. Marines. I'll bring it over to you.
All right.
They sent me a flag from the Marine Corps flag.
Wow.
And they say, thank you for such a generous gift. Semper Fi, love and respect, CPL, Imparin.
Hoorah.
Hoorah, right, hoorah.
They appreciated that.
So, very few things I have material do I care about or love. I love this.
You're a patriot.
Yo, 100%. Are you kidding?
You love America.
I love America.
This is cool. This is a kind gesture. I'm sure they appreciated that quite a bit.
Yeah, and I have hundreds of letters from them also. I also have another one like that. From I guess it was the Air Force in Iraq. They sent me a flag that they flew in an attack helicopter, and I just figured I have that framed also. I figured you don't want to see two framed things.
No, I mean you can show it to me if you want.
I have to go down to the basement and get it. You really want
Okay,
it?
I believe you.
Okay.
We'll put an image right here.
Okay. What's that?
We'll put an image right here on screen.
Oh, you want to take a picture of it, mean afterwards?
Yeah,
That's
we'll
fine.
use the magic of editing.
Okay.
You sound like a nice, charitable guy. I'm not debating that.
Why do we get that was about the idea of giving charity to
Giving.
non-Jews. So yeah, we do it.
Does most of the charity stay within the Jewish community, though?
Yes. Not all, but yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
It's a
that's
Jewish
cool
community.
that it bleeds elsewhere. That's
Oh, for
nice.
sure, for sure. And many other things. I've done, other people have done for non-Jews. We love that. It's a fundamental principle in Judaism that every human being is as a tselem Elohim. They have a spark of God in them. That's how people are created. The first man was not created from a coacerbate becoming an amoeba, but it was God put his spark into the first man to create life, human life. So we have respect and honor for every human being. Now, if somebody tries to kill us, we're allowed to fight back, right? So if the Arabs try to kill us, we're allowed to fight back. But we respect every human being and try to preserve life whenever we can. So back to where's my files? Back to I don't know if I need them. Let's see what else you asked me, and if I anticipated it.
We're just headed towards toppling the Jackson government at some point.
Got it. So the Jews Orthodox Jews were trying to start moving to Jackson. They were being harassed, discriminated against. So after a year, I couldn't bear it anymore. I get asked to get involved in a lot of things, and I'm just trying to limit it now. I'm getting older. I can't do as much as I used to. So I got involved, and I hired a political campaign group out of Washington, D.C. that does political campaigns for Republican senators. I think they did Ted Cruz, and actually the guy who runs it was teamed up with Laura Trump, running Trump's re-election campaign this time, Chris Lisavita. So we started working with them, doing all kinds of information projects, and I wrote a letter. I had lawyers on the side also to check everything. A letter to the mayor of Jackson, telling him what all the things I was going to do if they wouldn't reverse these discriminatory laws. In the meantime, there's another Jewish group called the Aguda that had a lawsuit against Jackson based on RLUIPA. That's the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act. And it says that a municipality, it's a law, federal law, municipality is not allowed to discriminate based upon religion or, I guess, institutional status, like someone's institutionalized. That part I don't know about. I don't know about the religious discrimination part, because that's what applies. So they were suing on that. And in their lawsuit, their discovery then showed all the emails from Jackson, all the things they were doing, conspiring against and executing to try to make life miserable for Orthodox Jews there. So instead of telling me that Jackson would try to amend these laws to be non-discriminatory, he made that statement to the press that he's going to kick my you-know-what. So then I went to
Very
work.
unprofessional.
He's a good friend of mine now.
But you went to work, and what happened next?
I went to Washington. I met with Ronna McDaniel, who was the head of the Republican National Committee. That's the Republican organization that runs the whole Republican Party, and the Speaker of the House at the time was Kevin McCarthy. He was actually in their conference room. So I met with both of them, showed them what was going on. They were shocked. And Jackson is a solidly Republican, I'm saying, not saying 100%, but mostly Republican area. By the way, Lakewood voted about 98% for Trump.
Okay.
Yeah, President Trump, when he got elected, he came out with a tweet, or whatever you call it.
I read the tweet.
Where he thanked us for our support. So this is Trump country over here. Jackson is also Trump country. They just don't want Jews there. They don't want Orthodox Jews there.
Let's slow down, though. Do you really think they don't want Jews there, or they don't want what they believe comes with an increase in the Jewish population and how their way of life may change? do you think it really stems from anti-Semitism? Because a lot of the people, the few people that I've spoken to, I haven't spoken to everyone in the town, obviously, right? My sample size is limited, just like it was in Curious Joel. A lot of it stems from fear and their loss of their way of life, right? I don't think it stems from hatred, from what I've heard.
So some hated, and some just some feared a change in their neighborhood. These people are moving in that don't look like them, that seem different, and I can understand it. But there are laws. There are laws about discrimination, and people bought homes legally because the non-Jews that lived there made a lot of money off the Jews in selling the home, and they could go move somewhere else. And we don't try to push anybody out. We're happy to live with them. As I said, well, hopefully we're very good neighbors. Now, I'm sure you'll find some non-Jew who will say, oh, those dirty Jews, they this, they that. Okay, whatever. But I think...
But you'll also find some Jews who will say, I prefer to not have my children play with the Goyim, right?
But look, that's it. I saw that in that video on Curious Joel. And we keep going on these tangents.
Well, that's also, there's a council meeting, I think, in Jackson where a woman said that. And that's her, I get it, that's her kids, that's her right.
So let me explain what that's about.
Okay.
We only eat kosher food. If our kids play in a non-religious Jew's home, they might be given non-kosher food to eat. And kids, they don't know, they'll just eat it. Also, we generally not saying absolutely, generally don't have televisions in our home, and don't want to bring the secular values of homosexuality, of adultery, of theft, of cursing. I can go on and on. We don't want to bring this into our society. We want to have man and woman marrying, having a good marriage, and having children, and raising them to serve God by fulfilling the 613 commandments. So to have them go into a non-Orthodox Jewish home, the kids are going to be exposed to who knows what. There could be pornography going on, whatever. So that's why that is the reason why we don't want our children playing in a non-Orthodox Jewish home. Could be a non-religious Jewish home. We don't want them playing there either.
That makes sense. My question, though, is if you see Jackson as a natural continuation of Lakewood, why even begin to move to Lakewood, right? Because Jackson, why even move to Jackson from Lakewood?
Oh, Lakewood's filled up.
Jackson's minority Jewish right now.
Jackson
is mostly Gentiles who have a lot of these values and cultures that you don't see as positive.
Well, no.
There's some dangers associated with their way of life, right?
We don't criticize them. We just don't want those values brought into our culture. So we don't go around, oh, they're this. No, we don't. We just protect our culture from being the imposition. By the way,
but how is it imposition if they're there first? Is my question.
No. We're talking about the imposition, intruding into the values that we want to live by, and the values that we want our children to be raised by. We don't want that. So that's why they wouldn't send their children to the non-Jewish neighbor to play. Now, an adult might go to the non-Jewish neighbor. I have a daughter and son-in-law with kids. They live in Jackson, and they have a non-Jewish neighbor, a guy named Pete. He's a great guy. I think he's Greek Orthodox, and he's just a wonderful person. As a matter of fact, I've thanked him a number of times. I said that he's a tough guy too. I said, like, if there's ever a breakdown of law and order, I have confidence that he would defend our family. Our family there in Jackson.
Sure.
So I love him, absolutely love him. They have a Catholic next door neighbor who has 12 or 13 kids. Remember, Catholics used to do that, have lots of kids, traditional Catholics?
Yeah.
So their next door neighbor has 12 or 13 kids, and they're Catholic.
Maybe they're on welfare. It's not a sin either way, right? Whether I agree with it or not.
If they legally
Sure.
qualify for it, but
Sure.
This is the other thing. You would go to people on the street, and how many people here have? I don't ask people how much they make. I don't ask them if they on welfare. I don't.
Yeah. But I'm that guy.
No. You're that guy when you go to an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood where there are statistics for high usage of it. You're that guy, but you don't go to any other area. You went into a black
Find me
ghetto.
another group with families of 10 kids that do the same thing. That would make for a great video.
Well, there aren't too many people. There aren't too many groups with 10 kids.
There you go.
Right.
That's the intrigue and the curiosity of that particular community.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought
Right.
I thought that you were being looking down on the legal application, to receive aid when, let's see, what was your video?
I don't agree with it.
Your video is titled that we're addicted, welfare addicted Jews.
So you don't think they're welfare addicted Jews?
Well, we get back into the question of addiction. I don't think that people who can't get off electricity, I don't consider them addicted. I'm a medical doctor. I don't consider people who use gasoline addicted. I don't consider
Welfare reliance, welfare dependence. You don't like the word addicted.
Come on, Tyler.
What?
Do you think addicted is a neutral word?
Let's look up the definition of addicted right now.
We
Let's just
can.
look it up.
We
Let's
can.
look it
But
up.
before you
Let's
do
look
it, do we have help for people who are? Do we have organizations that help and medical doctors help people who are addicted? Of course. It's not a nice word.
We have a few definitions. Enthusiastically devoted to a particular thing or activity. He's addicted to computers. Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effects. For instance, homelessness, inability to feed your children. You don't like the word addicted.
Yeah.
I would argue it's synonymous to reliant or dependent, and it really doesn't matter.
I think it was, so, I mean, we are...
You're offended by it.
Offended.
I find it crude and unkind.
I think it's very unkind.
If I changed it to welfare dependent or welfare reliant, you'd be okay with that.
Right, but you say they're not all welfare reliant, right? You went outside during the workday, talked to people on the streets. You didn't go into significant sized businesses and speak to the president or CEO and see people who are working in the office.
Well, I tried to walk into the businesses there. They wouldn't let me come in.
No, there was a couple of food stores, if I remember correctly.
What other businesses are there that I didn't see? It's not a huge place.
Well, it's
not a ton of industry, right? It's not a mecca of industry and productivity, right?
So there's 44,000 people there, and you seem to be in just a few block area. And I've never been to Curious Joel. I almost said Joel. Curious. I've never been to Curious Joel, but I'm told that there is a business district there. So you weren't in the business district.
You don't think so?
I've been told there's a business district there.
I think I walked around the shops and stores. I don't think there's major industry at play there.
Okay, so should we take the time and now see? I don't know. I've never been there, so I'm assuming there's business areas. I've told.
What did you not like about the video? The fact that I spoke to people who were not at work at that time, and I said, "Why aren't they at work?"
Do we want to go through your video? I have a bunch of timestamped comments.
Go. Comments or comments from me or comments?
No, I have timestamped where I saw what went on, what you said, and then to show you why we would consider that insulting or derogatory.
Go ahead.
Which, by the way, we never did Jackson.
We do need to get to Jackson at some point. let's finish Jackson, then you can go with all the problems you have with how I portrayed Curious Joel.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
Plus, I put in the positive parts. That's why one of the reasons why we're meeting today, because when you I told this to you earlier, when you saw the organizations where people dedicate their money, their time and work to help the community without getting paid, and we have I also did text you. Would you like to see some of those organizations here? For example, there's one, Devara Kala, where we have a lot of people are poor here, and when a young couple is going to get married and they're both dirt poor, there's an organization here, and they will screen, the girl and the boy to make sure there's no money in the family. Parents, where a girl will go in to shop for things that she'll need for the home, and they have a store set up, and she goes in. They have a shopping consultant for her, and and I know because I give $50,000 a year to it. It's not government paid. It's Orthodox Jew donation paid, and she shops around for top quality, all brand new linen, a Bosch food processor. I don't even know a lot of this stuff, but stuff that towels, and then with this shopping consultant taking her around, and at the end there's no charge. So that's another organization. We have, at Chaverim, they have it in New York, they have it here for free. My cleaning lady, not this one, the one before, she was locked out of her car. They came, they got her into her car, free of charge, no problem.
Yeah, we highlighted those guys. They were cool.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough for them to give us a little behind the scenes.
So, one. There's so many such.
Let's do Jackson real quick, and then we'll go over that.
But to your credit,
Yeah.
see, so you weren't some anti-Semite who just wanted to bash us because you saw it and thought you were touched by it.
I was.
And you said that.
Yeah.
And you said that. So that shows me you're not out to hurt us. You're more out to understand us, which is why I wanted to meet with you, because I was not religious till I was 30 years old.
Okay.
So I know the secular world. I grew up in it, and I can probably do a decent job of explaining the differences and where we're coming from. All right, Jackson.
Toppling the government. Why did you topple the government?
I told you.
How
why.
did you do it with ease? Just
No,
a
it was
few phone
not.
calls?
It was not with ease.
Okay.
Oh, it was not with ease. It was a tremendous amount of work.
Okay.
You can see there's news articles on it in the Asbury Park Press. When I went to Washington, I told you, Ron McDaniel, head of the Republican National Committee, had a statement there. They don't want any discrimination in Jackson. There's a Republican political leader who I'm not going to say the person's name. I'm trying not to give away the person's gender, although I'll probably mess up with a pronoun, but wanted to run for president. And I asked that person to please come here and I'm not going to struggle. She's a major Republican figure, and she didn't come because she's running for president, and she didn't want to take a chance on doing something that might offend some other the Republicans in the area. So I stopped being a supporter of her going forward. But I wanted her to come. John Bolton, you know who John Bolton is?
Tell me more.
Okay. John Bolton was on Trump's first term, he was the director of national intelligence, I think, and a supporter of Trump. And I know all these people. I could text with them and whatever. And I told him how to handle himself when he's with Trump, because John can be very honest with his feelings, and you need to understand, Trump has certain sensibilities about him, and you need to calm those urges that John would have. So talk about him coming, but then he insulted Trump. He was out of the administration. He wrote a book exposing apparently private conversations with Trump, and it became persona non grata among Republicans. I hate to say it with me too. I didn't like that he turned against Trump. So I didn't have him come, but that just gave me an idea of what was going on. I had a press agent in Manhattan trying to get the stories out to the press, and then I met with this political group, like I said, who ran senatorial campaigns. We got the cell phone numbers of all the people in Jackson, and we planned to text. We started a website called, I have to remember now, it's a number of years ago. This was 2019, 2020. I think it was Families for Jackson Justice.org maybe. By the way, I've since abandoned the website. Anti-Semites took it over. It's who cares?
Okay.
So then when the Republican club, which was vehemently anti-Semitic and run by the mayor of Jackson, had a U.S. Senate candidate, Republican candidate there for their meeting, I had spies inside the organization, non-Jews, who were telling me what was going on. And 5 minutes before...
Did you pay them to be spies?
No.
Just volunteer service?
They didn't like the discrimination going on. I told you, there are plenty of non-Jews. Americans in general do not believe in racism or discrimination. Contrary to what the woke types would want to say, we are not a discriminating people. Has discrimination never occurred? Oh, of course. Was there never slavery? Of course there was. But, at the time, I don't know about the numbers, I say half the country was against it. As a matter of fact, even the founding fathers, many of them, not all of them, many were against it, but they didn't put that into the Constitution at the time because they wouldn't have been able to unite the colonies to start the country. So it's a sacrifice they made, and black people paid a price for that. But for the most part, America is a meritocracy. Doesn't matter who you are, what you know, where you came from, what your religion is. If you work hard, if you dedicate yourself to doing the right thing, hopefully getting educated, work hard, save money, don't spend it recklessly, you can grow and develop, grow assets and have a family. And if you need help from the government that you don't like, you can get help from the government depending on what the qualifications are. So fundamentally, there are plenty of non-Jews in Jackson who didn't like the discrimination going on. Okay. So the Republican Club, they had their senatorial candidate about to speak, and we then texted to everyone in Jackson 5 minutes before he spoke. Here's this new website exposing the religious discrimination, which is also against the law in Jackson, New Jersey. I had it populated with all kinds of information, statements. We had the mayor of Jackson had been voice recorded, not by me, but it was sent to me. I didn't know anything about it. Where he was asked by the chairman of the Ocean County Republican Party if these were churches, would we be opposing them? He said absolutely not. It was discrimination against Jews, Orthodox Jews. So then they were going crazy with all the things I was doing, putting pressure on them. There was fighting going on among the political, the elected political people. Resignations had started. And then I had a couple of calls with the white. Then I put out the ad on Fox News. Now, when you see an ad on Fox News on cable, people think it's running across the country, but it's not. It's put on the cable network provider for that area. So it costs a lot of money, but not like if I was doing a national ad.
Sure.
And do you want to see the ad I wrote? Should I play it for you now?
Sure.
Okay. I have to find it.
I have it if you need it.
Oh, you have it? You want to play it?
Find it,
Okay.
yeah. We can put it on screen here. We can.
Okay.
I know exactly what it is.
So you
We
put it on
cut it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Lot of accusations, right? Anti-Semitism, big claims.
Right. And interestingly, so then more infighting going on, more resignations going on. In the meantime, I went to I had 2 different calls with the White House. I know you want to ask me 1,000 questions. I will answer nothing more than that.
Okay,
Sorry.
why?
Because.
Because what? I just want to know how easy it was for you to get this all done. It sounds like just, hey boss, I need you to get this handled. A bunch of anti-Semites here in Jackson. All right, I got you, Rich.
There's so much work involved.
So it wasn't like that.
No, so much work. My letter to the mayor of Jackson, telling what I was going to do, I did not end up doing everything that I could have done. But you can hire minority groups to picket if it's a cause that, like, for example, to end discrimination. There's a lot.
Hire minority groups? What do you mean? We're talking like poor Mexicans or what?
No.
Okay.
Different
What do you mean minority groups?
It doesn't matter.
It's like, wait, you're just hiring
I'm
minority
telling
groups to picket?
there are ways that I'm not a political operative,
Okay.
but I hired political operatives.
You hired minority groups to picket for you?
No, I could have.
Oh, you didn't do that. You
I
didn't
threatened him that I'm going to bring this to certain minority groups who are not going to like discrimination, which in virtually solidly white Republican Jackson, they wouldn't have liked to have Al Sharpton or somebody like that picketing outside on a full right?
No. That would have been a little petty, right?
Petty meaning, how is that?
You're just going to hire minority groups to picket in Jackson just because?
Because I want to stop the active religious discrimination against us.
Okay.
That's not.
Fight fire with fire.
I don't consider that petty.
Okay.
And yes, I will definitely fight fire with fire as long as it's legal.
Okay, you don't play around.
They were doing things that were illegal.
Yeah.
I was doing things that were legal.
And to be fair, the mayor's statement seems pretty damning, right? Him saying, "I wouldn't do this." If
Right. And you heard that on the commercial.
Yeah.
Right. By the way,
it seems discriminatory.
By the way, he's one of my best friends now.
Lifelong.
Because here's what happened.
Yeah.
More Orthodox Jews kept moving in because of the financial and demographic forces I told you about. And we started to become a larger part of the electorate. And he was coming up for re-election as mayor. And he asked someone if he could come here and apologize to me. And he came here and he said when he signed those resolutions, I mean they're called something else. They became regulations.
Yep.
They were passed by the city council, whatever you call it. But when I finish something, I got 10 other things to do, so I don't like dwell on it. I didn't go back and check it. So I think the city council or town council, whatever they call it, he said when he signed them into law, he knew it was a wrong thing to do, and he regrets doing it. He's an Italian guy. He's not a bigot. I didn't know this at the time because he signed the resolutions, but he said he was under so much pressure from all the people around him in Jackson. Doesn't mean everybody in Jackson, all the political types in Jackson and the people who have constituencies, and they're yelling at me, so he just signed it. And he wants to tell me now that he regrets doing it, he didn't mean to do it, and he's going to work to get rid of those regulations. Then that result was the Orthodox Jewish community embraced him, and we supported him. And I became the largest donor to his re-election campaign for mayor. I think I gave, now I'm going to tell you a number, I could be wrong.
Give me an estimate.
Not an estimate. I think I gave $40,000 to it. It might have been $20,000. For some reason I think it was 40. I'm not sure. Okay, that's the range. It wasn't $1 million.
It becomes an ally to the Orthodox Jewish community.
It becomes not bigoted against us, not discriminating against us. I don't want preferential treatment. I want non-discriminatory treatment, including for all non-Jews also. But don't do against us what you wouldn't do against the others. Don't make laws against our lifestyle to keep us out when it's illegal under the RLUIPA laws.
But you use your money to curry favor with a guy like Mike Reyna?
No, he decided he wanted nothing to do with the discrimination first.
Okay, so he wasn't courting you for a political
No,
donation.
I think he was shocked when I decided to do it. But I like to support people.
But they are aware you're wealthy and have the ability to help their political campaign or write a nice check, right?
I didn't ever ask him. Probably, do I know? I can't read his mind. I like to support people who do the right thing. I'll give you an example. Scott Walker was the governor of Minnesota. I didn't know him at all, but he wanted to make a law that that employees of the state of Minnesota have the right to choose whether they want to be a part of the union or not. It shouldn't be that when they get a job in the state of Minnesota, they're required to join the union. He got that law passed, and the result was, and everyone said it's political suicide. He did it because it was the right thing to do. Give people a choice, the choice to make their own decisions with their own money. So he did that. There was a recall election that because the unions brought in, I think, check the news reports, I think 1 million people they brought in to canvass homes to recall him. About a week before the recall election, I had sent a $50,000 donation to his election campaign against the recall. And maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks before the election I did that. Now, I didn't know, not that I care, but I didn't know that under Minnesota law, they have to publish donors of that magnitude. And it turned out I was the second largest donor to his campaign. So, and they published it about 5 days before the election. So at my company in Philadelphia, our customer service department was made of non-Jews. We're getting these calls threatening me, telling me I'm against the working person, all this. And my employees love me because I loved them and I looked out for them, and they all knew it, and they were incensed by it. And you could look in the Facebook page and see. But because they were all threatening me, especially some with violence, I then contacted his campaign by telephone. I got the wire information, and I wired another $50,000 to him 2 days before the election.
So you're saying you're a man of principles and you put your money behind those principles.
He's behind people who stand for principles. He's not Jewish,
Okay.
not Jewish.
I see what you're saying.
He's a born-again Christian. Great fundamental values. But anyway, about the Wednesday, about a week after the election, I get a call on my cell phone. I say, hi, hello? He says, yeah, Dr. Roberts says, this is Scott. This is Scott. This is Scott who? Scott Walker. Oh, Mr. Governor. I said, yes. I know what you did. I guess you doubled down. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So no, I support people who try to do the right thing. So Mike Reyna, he knew he did the wrong thing when he signed that stuff. It irked him. He didn't like it, and he decided, at great political peril to himself, because we Orthodox Jews were still a small voting minority in the township. He decided to, quote unquote, come to our side, meaning he wanted to be against discrimination. I supported him, and thank God he won. And then 2 years later, he won re-election. 4 years later, he won re-election again.
So you see Jackson as a continuation of Lakewood.
Well,
it's
the next block over. You're driving on. You ever been driving on a street, and it says, "Welcome to the township of so and so," right? Driving on the street.
Yeah, it's a 100 square mile town, right? It's a large town, but it is.
It might be more. It might be 150. Did you look it up?
I think it's 100, but let's say it's bigger.
Okay.
Sure. I guess what I want to ask you.
Oh, by the way, on that.
Yeah.
Just about your video.
Okay.
You're talking about Curious Joel. You also said invaded by welfare addicted Jews.
Oh, really?
So you said that we invaded that town.
Yeah.
I looked up.
Yeah, I suppose that's in reference to annexation.
How did we invade it? Who was living there before?
Monroe County, just prior residents. Stuff was bulldozed.
It was farms.
Okay.
Yeah. So I asked GPT 5.2,
Yeah.
and it said it was farms. Orthodox Jews bought some of the farms up, the farmland, and then tried to start building on it, residences, and worked politically to get it separated from the township of, what was it, Monroe? I don't know. I forget already. So they could have their own town there. But they didn't invade anybody. They bought farmland.
Okay.
So that would be another objection we had to the way you worded that. But go on. Okay, about Jackson.
Okay, so Jackson.
Can I drink my coffee while you talk?
Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna take a sip too. Actually, no, I don't need it. Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, with Jackson,
It's
do you
strong,
think
it's strong stuff.
it's good? Yeah, it's tasty. With Jackson, do you think there's friction between Jews and non-Jews right now?
There is love between, we're talking about Orthodox Jews, right?
Exactly.
Between Orthodox Jews and a very large number of non-Jews, but there are some flat out anti-Semites, or some that just don't want these different looking people who hold by different customs coming into their town. Go live somewhere else. Not in my backyard type of
Sure.
of idea, and they're not doing it out of bigotry. Although I got to tell you, if you saw when the Department of Justice stepped in and sued Jackson, one of the things the Department of Justice cites, you can get the lawsuit, it's public, the filing, was the blatantly anti-Semitic comments by many of the residents who came to the Jackson Board of.
What is an example of something they said that was anti-Semitic? The word's overused a lot, so I just want to make sure.
The Department of Justice said they were clearly anti-Semitic. So you have to look up the documents. I don't recall.
Okay.
Again, this is what 5-6 years ago.
But it's sort of a never-ending saga, right? The
What's
conflict continues for residents who want to preserve their way of life and Orthodox Jewish folks who want to come in, right? Move in and live the way they want to live.
I've heard from many Orthodox Jews there that they have really nice, sweet relationships with their non-Jewish neighbors. So I don't think.
I'm sure there's both.
I think yeah. So right. So you might ask what number? I don't know, but I can tell you Mike Reyna.
Yeah.
Won with more than 50% of the vote, and we only constitute about, I think, maybe 8 or 10% of the vote in that last election. So there's a whole lot of non-Jews there that are voting for the guy who doesn't want to discriminate.
Do you think the current politicians want to discriminate or are anti-Semitic in any ways? Current mayor?
No.
No. It's good.
She's not Jewish. Jennifer Kuhn, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Or Quinn.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I met her once or twice. I meet so many people. I'm so funny. I can remember chemistry formulas, physics equations. I have trouble remembering people's names.
Fair enough.
A quirk.
Yeah.
My wife is a genius when it comes to names, remembering names. But anyway, so I met her a couple times. Thought she was a very, very nice person. I've heard from people that she's fair. She wants to do the right thing. So I don't think she's bigoted. And I think that most people in Jackson government now are not. If you would ask me, like, name the people on the city council, township council, I actually can't even do it. I'm somewhat away from that.
We'll move on from that then. I guess what I'm asking is
one of my next 10 issues or projects.
Sure. Do you think residents in Jackson who do not want Jackson to be majority Jewish or to look, feel, and sound like Lakewood, do you think that is anti-Semitic? They do not want it to be majority Jewish. Is that a bad thing? Is that within their right to oppose that?
Well, people have a right to freedom of speech and freedom of their opinion, even if they're going to be bigoted.
Do you think that's bigoted?
No, I'm saying.
I imagine you don't want this place to be Islamic. You don't want Lakewood to be predominantly Islamic.
Right.
Right. You wouldn't want
only because the radical Islamists want to kill us.
Sure.
Other than that, I have no problem.
I don't think that's obviously true, though, right? They're not going to get radical Islamists coming in. Let's just say the regular.
Well, there are radical Islamists taking over cities.
And they're radical Jews and they're radical Christians, right?
Which Orthodox Jews are radical Jews that want to hurt people?
Sure, yeah. There's definitely sects of.
Who?
Many people could argue there are distinct sects of Judaism that are. People will in fact argue Zionism is radical, for instance.
That's not a sect of Judaism. That's a political move.
Well, they would argue the same thing about a terrorist group that's Muslim.
No, I'm sorry.
Of course, though, a true Muslim would argue that's not actually what the Quran says. That's a bastardization.
Have you never read Hamas's covenant?
I'm saying a true Muslim is going to argue that Hamas is not a reflection of Islamic law.
Right, but if you look at the Pew Foundation's surveys of Muslims,
sure,
it's a substantial portion of the Muslim community that want to kill all Jews. If you look at the Hamas's covenant, they want to kill everyone who's not their brand of Islam. They're Sunni. They want to kill all Jews. They want to kill all Americans. Do you know what the flag of the Houthis says on the flag?
I don't know what it translates to.
But
I'm not arguing.
Could you AI that right now?
I'm sure there is radical Islam. I know for a fact there is. That's not what I'm arguing.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
You wouldn't want Lakewood to become predominantly Muslim. Radicalism aside, though, right?
Right.
Just like Jackson residents don't want it to be predominantly Jewish.
So if a Muslim wants to buy a house here and pay way more than what the house would sell outside of our community because of the fact that the prices go up when we come in, they're free to do it.
But I still think it's bigoted for you to not want it to be predominantly Muslim here. Why would you? You're Jewish.
Right, well, we have a predominantly.
And why would a secular person want it to be predominantly Jewish? It's the same logic, is what I'm saying. You wouldn't want this place to be predominantly Muslim.
So I don't know if it's predominant or not. We're a minority in Jackson. But Jackson also has laws that require a minimum acreage per residence.
Okay.
Now, I think there is some exceptions, maybe for low, low income housing. What's that called? As a specific term.
A?
No, that's the government program. There are state requirements for townships to have low income housing, and that's allowed to be, I think maybe. You'd have to look up. Maybe like 3 residences per acre. I'm not sure. I just don't remember. But for the most part, I think Jackson requires 1 acre per residence. So that's going to preserve the feel of that community. It can't be an acre per residence. Every residence is an acre.
I don't know.
And I don't know either. But there's a lot of land per residence there. So it's not going to be have the concentration of development like we have here.
Do you want Lakewood to be predominantly Muslim? Just you personally? Just yes or no?
No.
And why?
Because it's a...
Let's say they don't want to kill you.
Right, you know, ones that don't want to kill
Assume they don't want to kill you. Yes.
I'm fine with people moving in, but we
Different
have...
culture, right?
No, because we have to support, to have Jewish schools, we have to have a critical mass of Jews here to support Jewish schools. To have kosher grocery stores, supermarkets, we have to have a critical mass of Orthodox Jews here to support kosher supermarkets. By the way,
so using that logic, why would anyone in Jackson want Jackson to have more and more Jews move in? If you're arguing there needs to be a critical mass for it to be
how are we infringing on their right, on their ability to do whatever?
I'm not saying you are, but why would they want that? Why would they want that? Why would they be bigoted?
You mean
legality aside, why would anyone want that in Jackson who's not Jewish?
They don't have to want or not want. If somebody's selling their house
it doesn't make them
to an Orthodox Jew, the Orthodox Jew is allowed to buy the house.
Sure, but I'm talking about the people who are not selling their houses to Orthodox Jews.
They have the right to do that.
Of course, but that doesn't make them a bigot to not want it. It doesn't mean they're hateful. It doesn't mean they hate you.
What is it, their lifestyle that we're going to change?
You just said you need a predominance of Jews
in
Lakewood to sustain the school system. And for example, take the public schooling formula. It inadvertently depletes the public schooling of its funding to accommodate the public transportation and the special education.
It's extremely unfair. And how's it unfair?
Why is it unfair?
It's extremely unfair because the state gives money to townships for each child that's in school.
Public school.
But that's public school. So what happens is we pay full school taxes. We Orthodox Jews, we pay the full school taxes to support the public schools and for busing. And the only thing that we get to use is busing. And the state
textbooks and special education, right?
Well,
curriculum.
We're going to talk about children with disabilities. Let's talk about regular schools to start, because I don't think you're against funding for children. Are you against funding for children with disabilities?
Well, we need to discuss the Establishment Clause, right? What is the Establishment Clause?
Right. Well, that's not what it means to me. What it means to the Supreme Court. What it means to the Supreme Court.
What's your interpretation?
Which is
are secular taxpayer dollars funding private religious education?
Right. Well.
And is it up to
No. It's more broad than that. You're applying it to education. The government is not allowed to. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll try to express it as best I think is, and you may look it up and find out.
Yeah. I'm not a lawyer either.
I think the government is not allowed to take any actions that promotes any particular religion. Does that sound right to you?
Something like that.
Right. So now, but the government is allowed to give school vouchers to parents of children that go to private schools of any type, or public schools. So there are a couple of states that have school vouchers, Florida and Ohio. You can go look up the details. Again, I don't know them. There are many other states considering school vouchers, which would not only allow Orthodox Jews that go to Orthodox Jewish schools to get money, would allow Catholic families to get money for parochial schools. It would allow evangelical families that want to send their children to evangelical school to get the same kind of support for the schooling of their children that others get, while we all have to pay the full school taxes.
I agree.
Do you see the thing that's unfair about that?
Well, sure, I understand that you're paying property taxes, for instance. You're funding,
right,
you're contributing to the tax base for a secular guy.
And most property tax goes to the school system, which I don't have a problem with. Except that we have to send our children to religious schools because of the values that are taught in the secular schools.
Well, there's a few arguments, right? That the religious education is not up to par or up to educational standards for secular requirements, right?
That's what the people against us would say, but Orthodox Jews they become very successful lawyers, accountants, just like the across the street, the two people there, husband and wife, they're both school teachers, and she's a national level lecturer. The next one, he started a bicycle shop, and he works in this bicycle shop. The next one, going that way across the street, is a certified public accountant, and was with one of the big four firms. Used to be Big Five, now it's Big Four.
Sure.
And now he's working in industry. Go around the block. There's friends of mine. The wife is an attorney. Husband is an electrician.
Sure. I agree. Clearly, the schools are doing something right. With that being said, though, hatred aside, like discrimination aside, the formula itself would inform someone that is a Jackson resident right now to naturally not want more private students to come into the community, spreading the budget thin, right? It's not even necessarily. But the budget is fixed. And
the Orthodox Jews are paying full property tax, which is, let me finish, which is how the schools are funded, and the schools are funded through property tax.
Sure.
And we don't get the benefit of the school building, the school teachers, all the things that go, all the things that go on. So we have to also pay for our private education. So they're getting our money, and we're getting nothing for it.
Well, you guys are getting something for it. You're getting gender segregated busing that is more expensive than average busing. But to be fair, it's nothing near the cost of an average public school student, right?
You say it costs more. I don't know if it costs more because
there's more buses. It's less efficient.
Is that true? No, because the buses are full with kids anyway. They're full with girls, and these are full with boys.
I don't think that's fully true.
So,
but we can. I mean,
so,
let's say
no, I'm not going to argue because I don't
Sure.
know. I didn't go count that. I didn't look up the number of buses that the school district would have if it was mixed classes versus not. I can tell you, we don't have any teenage pregnancies. We don't have any out of wedlock pregnancies. We for the most part don't have any drugs. Like I said, some of the little bit's creeping in.
Yeah, I think those are great things.
So.
I'm just saying, why would a secular resident of Jackson right now be interested in a future in which the majority of the student base is private, yet the budget that's allocated for their public school student is a fixed amount that is a derivative of public school attendance? And by virtue of that formula existing the way it does.
So that's how the state of New Jersey really hurts us and hurts them.
I agree.
Right. The state of New Jersey should say anybody. We'll give that money according to how many kids you have going to any school.
Sure.
Right. So blame that on the state of New Jersey, which, by the way, we try to change that law.
Because sort of both parties
and what happens
lose
is,
out on this one, right?
Yeah.
The Jewish community gets blamed.
Yes, we both. Yes,
the
we
formula's
both.
kind of the bad guy at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, we pay full property taxes, and I can see, right, we both lose out on that.
So all I'm saying is, I don't think it's people that hate Jews. I just think they know that, as a matter of fact, more and more come into their community, they will begin to have a lower quality of education for their public school students. The budget will be depleted.
Have you documented a lower quality of education for public school students?
The schools are shutting down and bought up by yeshivas.
No, time out. You said a lower quality of education. There are plenty of
schools are going away.
There are plenty of examples across the country through history where if there are population changes, schools consolidate. We're not the first place that's happened, nor the last place. If the quality of the education hopefully still stays good. Now, I don't even know the quality of.
I think the data would suggest otherwise, though.
I'd have to see the data. I don't know. I've not looked at the data of quality of education. There's a totally where no Orthodox Jews live. I know there's been an aging of a population in the township. And then they work for the kids, the public school kids, to go to another township, which also has an aging population, so they can fill their school and then close another for efficiency. But I'd be honest with you, I'm not involved in it. But to answer your question, could there be non-Jews who don't like Orthodox Jews moving in because it's changing their neighborhood? Yes,
of course,
absolutely. And are there lots of non-Jews who hate Jews? By the way, look at the comments on your, right? Did you see the comments of to your video?
There's clearly a lot of vitriol on there.
Yeah. They want to gas us. They want to put us in gas chambers. They want to murder us. They want to, Hitler didn't finish the job.
Well, these are anonymous comments, but sure, people are bold on the internet.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those people generally have miserable lives, and because the majority of the non-Jews in Jackson and the majority of the people in the United States are not bigots. They are not racist. Sorry, they're not.
I agree.
And they believe in a meritorious system, which is what made America great.
All I'm saying is
Plus some other things.
Yeah, just like the Jewish people want to preserve their way of life, I just don't understand why it's difficult to understand why some people in Jackson, for instance, want to do the same.
I told you I did.
Okay, then I think we've established common ground. But it seems to be
maybe on an aspect of this.
What do you disagree with?
Well, but do you think that we don't have the right to buy someone's house if they want to sell it to us and move there?
Of course you do.
Okay, good, because
buyers and sellers can consent to an exchange of an asset or property in this case. Of course you do.
Now, you would ask people in Curious Joel about how's that different from a white-only community? Do we agree it should be able to be a white-only community?
Oh, I think so.
Remember you asked that?
I think there should be an allowance to be able to do so. I think there's an argument to be made that...
Do you see the difference between that community and our communities?
No.
Okay. The difference is that, first of all, my personal feeling is people can do whatever they want as long as it's legal.
Yeah, there should be a right to freely associate.
I don't know. I know there's all kinds of housing discrimination laws. I don't know if it's allowed or not allowed for white-only community. But if it is, by the way, they say white, I'm as white as anybody, right? But they usually mean white non-Jews, right?
Perhaps, yeah. In that particular Ozarks example, I think you're right.
Yeah, they probably don't want Jews either. So,
but you're as white as it gets.
Yeah. Well, Eastern European.
I think the example is used to show that one group can sort of consolidate together and freely associate, but take Curious Joel, while they're technically not in violation of the Fair Housing Act, because maybe they won't disclose to a potential buyer why they didn't get the house, virtually quite impossible to move in.
Oh, I don't know that. You did not.
You think I could move in? You think someone would rent or sell to me?
Depends how much you offer him. I think there may be some that would sell. There may be some that won't. If that all-white community, if that's illegal by housing laws, they could do what we've done. They could pick an area and they could offer people double what their houses are worth, and they can move in there.
And I think that argument's fair. You guys have offered, people who have bought homes that were owned by non-Jewish residents, they got offered more money than it was worth.
Right.
And they left.
Yeah.
And that's their fault.
Fault?
Yeah, it's their fault.
I don't know if it's a fault. It's a choice.
No, it's the neighbors, listen, you can't complain about, I got offered more money than my house is worth. That's an invalid complaint.
Right. A lot more money than the house was worth.
Sure.
Right. The $300,000 home went for $600,000, and if they could move a block away. I don't know, whatever they want.
I agree. No one's forcing them to sell.
Right.
I think the neighbors see that and realize that, okay, there's a lot of money involved here. Our neighborhood's identity will fundamentally change in a very short period of time. Thus the concern and fear. And at times, what you see as anti-Semitism.
Well, you say neighborhood's identity. Neighborhood, level of crime will go down. Violence will go away. Crime will go away. Gangbangers that you expressed in one of your videos you're concerned about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Will not exist. People will help their neighbors, Jewish or non-Jewish. They'll help their neighbors. There won't be boys and girls hanging out and having out of wedlock,
premarital sex.
That's not us.
You don't play like that. Yeah.
Kids will be taught altruism and morality from the earliest that they can understand anything.
Do you think most Orthodox Jews treat non-Jews differently or in a lesser way?
Okay, lesser, no. We like I said, it's one of our fundamental principles. Every human being is a tzelem Elokim. They deserve respect because there's a spark of God in every human being. But that we don't want to commingle our children who could be influenced by being exposed to secular values. Yes, we definitely want to protect our children from secular values. And by the way, I think there's a whole lot of religious Christians fundamentalist Christians, by the way, the evangelical Christians I've met, every single one I've known a lot, are the finest people around.
I love Jews.
The finest people around. Not just because because they love us, they love everybody. My experience, a white evangelical group has not a drop of prejudice against blacks or Hispanics, or anybody else. They are they are altruistic, they're giving, they're true, honest people. I found
Okay.
the
Sure.
Mormons also. Mormons, I mean, they are, okay. Now, you can find exception here.
I get it. Your experience has been great.
Fine people. By the way, just a tangent.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, there are so many Mormons in Washington, D.C., in the power structure. They are unbelievably powerful
Sure.
and present as top lawyers, top law firms.
Yes.
We know about Mitt Romney, but he was just the guy who ran for president. And there's no problem with that.
Are you familiar with the term drain the beast?
No.
I think there's an interesting philosophy they have on welfare as well, like a truly like bleed the system a little bit. So I think to your point, yeah, to your points, there are other groups worthy of similar criticism that I presented in Curious Joel. Like
Okay, but
fundamentalist Latter-day Saints would be a good example.
you're against what they do also?
If they're having 10 kids on government welfare, yeah, I'd be opposed.
Okay, but of course, plenty of us have 10 kids don't have welfare.
Of course,
Right.
that's great. It's coming out of your pocket.
Well, the welfare for all 99 million people. When I say welfare, I'm talking about.
Well, because you pay taxes.
I pay taxes, so
Not
everybody.
everyone does.
Right, not everybody in America pays taxes, and the wealthy pay much more than those who are not wealthy. What's the number?
You pay a disproportionate amount of the taxes,
Right.
Guys
and,
like you.
And I don't complain about it. And I actually don't look for tax loopholes. I pay my taxes. I love this country.
Yeah.
And
You're a unique guy.
I don't know. I think my people around me I know are honest. There's a lot of honest.
I'm just saying your level of the amount of money you've made, you pay a lot back into the tax
Oh,
base.
yeah,
It's
right.
unique.
By the way, I also distorted the neighborhood because, like I said, we in the
Yeah.
non-Orthodox Jewish world, in the secular world, wealthy people don't live with people who are poor. We all live together, and there's some average income calculation for how much tax is paid per region, almost like per neighborhood. And apparently, one of my neighbors complained I distorted the numbers. Sorry, but we all live together. What
Yep.
can I do? I don't
Yep.
make up the rules.
And that's what a lot of your arguments go back to. These are laws. They're being these things are legal, is what you keep
Right. And
Yeah.
if the white-only community is legal,
Let 'em
that's
be.
their right. And if it's not,
And that's a fair argument.
and if it's not, they can try to elect people that will make it legal. And I just don't know. The Supreme Court. I don't know anything about that. So I don't.
I guess what I want to ask
But
is
it's very
yeah.
different from that they say we will only sell to. Let's complete the sentence. White Christians,
Non-Jews.
non-Jews.
Yeah.
We will only sell to white non-Jews.
I think that's literally what they said.
Okay. Because these are white only. I assume
Yeah.
by their standards I'm not white, but do I look, as a person of color to you? Only when I eat a lot of papaya.
Yeah. No, you look very white.
Yeah, right. I am.
Yep.
So that's apparently a different character than.
According to them, right?
And if you want to, and I saw in your Curious
Yeah.
Joel video, many people said you can probably buy here. Why not? You're probably not going to feel comfortable.
Yeah, and when I asked, but like, I know technically and legally I can, but could I? They'd be like, well.
Well, why don't you try? No, some people said they don't. Well, maybe somebody wouldn't sell to you. Maybe somebody would. They don't know. You're stopping a guy on the street, and you think he. But most of the people stop. They said they're renting. They don't even own a house, right?
Okay.
Most said they rent, but they don't know what anybody who owns homes would or wouldn't do.
Well.
Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. Because I spoke to a guy
come
off
on.
record.
Oh, a guy. Okay. Go on.
I mean, I can pull the footage, I'm sure, off camera, find the guy. It was a guy who said a rabbi was building an apartment complex, and he was selling it at a discounted rate to Jewish people. I said, hey, could I get in? He said, well,
Okay.
unlikely.
Did you try?
No, I didn't try. I was there for 2 or 3 days. I outlined my observations, and I posted the video.
So why don't you go make an offer? You want to make an offer for my house?
No.
Offer me $10 million. I'll take it right now.
Is that how much this house is worth?
No.
It's a nice house.
No, but as I said, is when we move to an area, there's a non-Jewish home, we generally pay them double what it's worth. Now you're gonna say, is my house worth $5 million? I'm not in the market. I didn't try to sell it.
I get what you're saying.
But offer me $10 million. I'll tell you, whatever my house is worth, give me $10 million. I will sell it to you. Welcome to the neighborhood, Booby.
Thank you. There's no gun to their heads. There's just a large checkbook.
Right.
And above market rate.
Above market, way above market rate. And I'm telling you, I commit now. I'll keep the offer open for the next week. Get your investor, real number, real number. 10 million. None of this funny business like you need to inspect and then decide. No contingencies. I'll sell it to you.
I totally get what you're saying. To flip it though, I think if a bunch of wealthy Muslims came in and had a ton of money to throw around to people who were not wealthy and that money meant a lot to them, and residents who lived here started one by one selling the houses just for that paycheck, and some of the neighbors who had no intention of leaving might be like, dang, our way of life is about to change. The culture of this town is about to fundamentally change, and there are some concerns. That's understandable, right?
Well, we do want to make sure that our kids have children to play with, and
because you can't play with Gentile children, or you choose not to.
The Gentile child could come to our house because we know that our children are not going to be given non-kosher food. We don't want our children going to their house where they get being given non-kosher food. Also, there could be a television on, which television brings in all of these secular values that we reject for us. We don't reject it for them. They do whatever they want. We reject it for us, and we don't want to be exposed to it.
And that's what it stems down to.
By the way, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. A football.
Yeah.
And when my sons were younger, I took them to some Eagles games, and I tell you, waiting to get into the stadium, I had to hold their ears from people that were waiting to go through security, but they're drunk and they're smoking pot and they're saying things that,
And you're a concerned parent who wants to preserve the values and ethics of your child.
Yes.
And I think the people that live in places like Jackson, for example, are trying to do the same. That's the idea I'm trying to present to you. That there seems to be a clash of...
Well, we're not bringing... You think we're bringing corrupting values to their children?
No, not corrupting, but perhaps
no
right?
violence, honesty, no curse words, no...
Well, these are great things you're listing.
No, babies out of wedlock.
Sure. They might point to the excess of traffic, tons of cars, the car accidents, maybe the cold shoulder that the children
car
get
accidents.
From. That's real though. We saw a few just in the last couple of days. The driving is terrible, right? I'm sure there's some auto insurance.
So it's so funny on your video, on your YouTube video. I think you said you saw there was an accident there, and then you was laughing 5 minutes later. There's another accident. Look at this.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear to me that was an accident because then the car backed up. He drove off, and the bus looked like it drove off.
Just like in Lakewood.
It didn't look to me like it was an accident.
Just like in Lakewood, we saw a hit and run where a guy claimed to drive into the snow, but the two cars had actually collided. I know this because we have footage of it happening. The guy comes up to me as I'm filming. I'm like, hey, I wanted to talk about the driving out here. He tries to gaslight and lie to me, saying, a Jewish guy, saying, oh, you want to say that there's, the drivers are bad here, which was exactly what I witnessed in the case of those two drivers, at least. An accident happened, icy roads, whatever.
Right.
He's like, no, I drove into the snow. The guy left, the cops show up and say, hey, we're investigating a hit and run.
Okay.
What we observed in Kiryas Joel is that they would exchange insurance. If there's a fender bender, they move on. The car's separated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because when I saw that car hit when you said it's an accident with the car and the bus, it wasn't clear to me that they actually hit, because then they drove off, and I thought maybe they didn't hit each other.
Do you leave and drive often out here?
Excuse me?
Do you leave and drive often in Lakewood and Jackson?
I don't know. Often I drive. I'm not not often.
Are you familiar with the nature of the rate of auto accidents out here? That's what I'm asking.
But there are auto accidents here. What the rate is, I don't know. There could be. It might be. It's a higher rate. I don't know. I have had cases where I was appalled by the driving. Matter of fact, my wife just told me, last week, some guy made a left-hand turn from the right-hand lane and cut her off.
Yeah.
I said, was an Orthodox Jew? She said no.
Of course not.
So listen, are all Orthodox
Okay.
Jews? Wait, are all
Yeah.
Orthodox Jews perfect?
Of course not.
None
No
of
one's
us.
perfect. No one's
None of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And is there people are under pressure here? That's another thing I want to explain to
In
you.
Lakewood?
Orthodox Jews having lots of children are under tremendous pressure. They're waking up. We have all these religious responsibilities, right? Praying 3 times
Yeah.
a day
Yeah.
is on these schedules. It's a tremendous burden. I use the word burden intentionally. Raising all these children. One's got a middle ear infection, has to go to the doctor. You get this one dressed. That one needs a bottle. This one needs a diaper change. This is going to high school. This is going to the other, and then they can't afford. They're in debt. They're getting maybe government programs. They're also working. It's not enough. Getting some help from relatives or an organization that's like Tamkei Shabbos delivers. Tamkei Shabbos brings packages of groceries to poor people's Orthodox Jews' homes the night before the Sabbath, rings the doorbell and runs away, so that people are not embarrassed that we give a charity.
That's cool.
So this is just, and I give money to them also. Not everybody, I tell you everybody. It's common here to give money to Tamkei Shabbos and all these other organizations. So they live very, and then to pick up this kid from playgroup, and then he's got to get back to his job, but his lunch break, and to pray the afternoon service, get back. People are rushed. What you generally will not see in Lakewood or in an Orthodox Jewish community is what you saw in Detroit. You won't see people hanging out in the street doing nothing. As a matter of fact, in Curious Joel, you can say, they're all on their phone. What are they doing? They're hurrying around. They're busy. They're short of time. They've got jobs, most of them, not all of them. They've got jobs. They've got children. They have religious responsibilities. Times have to pray. They want to also learn. They have to learn Torah every day, and they're rushing. So, accidents can happen. Yeah.
That was an explanation.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
Could
why would
you-
I want a bunch of car accidents? Right. That was a good explanation.
Well,
That makes sense.
we don't want car accidents either, but I mean,
It seems that
they
that's
happen.
the case, right?
By the way, the thing about Curious Joel,
It's walkable.
the thing about Curious Joel is, you're talking about the accidents there. I'm just thinking like, welcome to New York. I don't like New York City. You ever been at Manhattan?
I have.
Insane driving there. Almost no Orthodox Jews. Insane driving there. I don't like driving there. Take your life in your hands. It's crazy. And there are New Yorkers, Orthodox Jews, that move here and bring their New York driving habits, which I'm from Philly, we don't like that.
Yeah.
But it happens. And Curious Joel, I think a lot of people are, we're from like Williamsburg, which is a Satmar Hasidic area in Brooklyn. They're bringing those New York driving habits.
And it belies a different point too,
See,
which
I
is
love New York.
infrastructural.
I don't love New York.
Sure, I get it. No one likes driving in New York. I think a lot of people don't like driving in Lakewood.
Right.
For those same issues.
Okay, yeah.
But to be fair, the infrastructure is stressed, right?
Very stressed.
It's not designed for this many people.
We keep trying to get the government to expand. Route 9 is the main thoroughfare, and it's a state road, and the state, just like education, won't give us our fair share of money. To expand Route 9. Been trying for over a decade.
And take a place like Jackson, which many people probably move there to get away from the hustle and bustle of the
Right.
city, the dense population. They want the beautiful nature, the tranquility in Jackson. Yet as more and more people come and they look at Lakewood and some of the density there and the issues that come with that density, it seems logical that they wouldn't want that.
As I tried to explain previously, Jackson has zoning laws that require a certain amount of property per residence. So I don't see Jackson as going to develop into an overbuilt type of situation.
You don't think the same issues in Lakewood will persevere and progress?
A lot of the Orthodox Jews that move to Jackson is because they don't want to be in an overbuilt
That's what I've heard too.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to preserve I don't know what you call it, it's not rural, but I mean, Jackson is substantially rural, suburban, but they want to preserve that.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I think we've talked about infinite. I think if we keep going, we're going to talk all day. What are some points you want to address? Is there anything you want to get out of your system? We're kind of bashing our heads on the same points here. Yeah.
Okay. We should go through your YouTube video and show you why people are
Go
upset
ahead.
about it.
Yeah. Who's upset? Tell me why. Who's mad?
Many Orthodox Jews in the community are upset.
And did they send you to speak with me? Did
No.
they think you were the guy, or you took this upon yourself?
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
I didn't tell them we're meeting because they want to tell people that you're not going to give us a fair shot, and therefore don't talk to you because you're going to just twist what they say and take it out of context.
That's what I've heard. I get the group chats where they say, "Don't speak to him. He's here.
Absolutely.
Run away. Run away. Be
Absolutely.
quiet. Whisper in his ear."
Yes, and what I saw from you was, I've shown you already some things are clearly prejudicial, but not because you're a bigot. I do really understand you need clicks, and you make a living, and you have a tremendous following, and you want to get clicks. And the comments on the video you did about us includes all these murderous people who want to kill us, and that's not your fault.
Let's
Excuse
judge me on the basis of what I put out.
I said
not
what I
the
just said.
comments.
What I just said.
You said that's not my fault.
It's not your fault.
But
right?
well, sure, but you front loaded with that statement. So.
Oh no,
kind of
I was in the middle of a sentence, so I wasn't front loaded. So, but that's not your fault. But
Okay.
I go through the things that you did. So that
Take it
made us seem like you were not giving us a fair shake. But when I saw how intelligent you are, how bright you are, and I saw towards the end of your video how when you were personally touched and valued the altruism of Orthodox Jews making these organizations, sacrificing themselves for no remuneration to help people, and that you would then compliment us for that. It meant if you were a racist, you wouldn't be doing that. Okay.
I agree. It would have been very easy. Just here's all the shitty things about this place. Right?
So I thought that by the end of the video, maybe your sentiment was changing to some degree. That's what
I have a nuanced opinion on many things.
right.
Yeah.
So it's a fact that
Good,
that's
bad,
how
that way.
it's a fact that's how I felt. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm right, but that's how I felt.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So I thought that you were worthwhile to speak with because I was raised totally non-religious. I come from the secular world, became Orthodox Jew when I was 30, and I understand where the secular world is coming from. They would perceive things. So, and I understand the Orthodox Jewish world that I have 2 feet. Well, I have 1.5 feet in. So
Okay.
I have a foot in the other world.
Got it.
So I told you how just the title, invaded by welfare addicted Jews, invaded. We're not invading. We bought farms. I mean, not we. I wasn't there, but these Orthodox Jews bought farms there and built a community on it. They didn't invade anybody. So, and then welfare addicted. Like I said, I wouldn't call people who have to have gasoline addicted to gasoline. I wouldn't call people who have to have money to live addicted to money. I wouldn't call people who need financial help addicted to financial help. These are things people need in order to live. And as long as the laws say they're eligible. Now, Somalians in Minnesota committing fraud, illegal, wrong.
Fraud addicted Somalis.
But you never. I don't know if they're addicted. There are plenty of people there that don't do that. I don't know. I didn't take a survey.
Sure.
But we're not addicted. We're not welfare addicted. They do receive welfare. Meaning welfare apparently is one type of like 30 different financial aid. GPT taught me all this now.
Get lots of money from the government.
I don't take any money from the government.
I know you don't.
Okay. So people are upset by that. Do you want to dispute or comment or just move on?
Welfare dependent, welfare reliant, welfare addicted, same to me.
Okay.
They need it to survive. It's
Fine.
part of their lifestyle.
So that's how we thought. Invaded, we didn't invade. That's why people felt you're out to get us. Addicted, we're not addicted. We might be reliant, but addicted is a very bad connotation. There are all kinds of, there's people addicted to, there's organizations, people addicted to alcohol, addicted to narcotics, addicted to gambling. These are considered diseases. I don't think they're diseased because they have to use gasoline, they have to use electricity.
Well, I'm addicted to caffeine. I cannot operate without it. That's not the same.
Caffeine might be causing physical addiction.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
But I don't think it's limited
I'll
to
move on.
physical substances.
At 58 seconds, you say, why is it okay to have a Jew-only community, but illegal when white people, quote, attempt to build their own, end quote.
Yes.
And so, and our response that would be, we're not a Jew-only community.
Curious Joel's not a Jew-only community.
If someone wants to, why don't you go get an investor and go try to buy? I just said, there are only Orthodox Jews, only Hasidim living there.
Okay.
But that's because of the financial incentives to live there. As people say, you probably don't want to live there. But we don't have any regulation. You're not allowed to live there.
That would be a violation of
the Jew-only community. You're saying is they have a regulation that only the white-only community. They have a regulation that only white Christians can live there. It's a difference.
I think it is functionally the same. It would be near impossible for me to move into Kiryas Joel.
Well,
but with your same logic, if I offered the guys in the Ozarks $1 billion, I'm sure I could buy the property.
Oh, well, okay, $1 billion, they'll probably say, great, buy the property and we'll go buy a bigger, better community to have their whites-only community. Yeah. I'm not telling you to offer $1 billion for a house in Kiryas Joel. But
what are you telling me to offer?
Well, I don't know.
As part of this experiment, Ford conducted.
Right.
Double the price, triple the price?
Why don't you try it? Triple the price. Make it an offer they can't refuse.
Okay, challenge to the viewers as well. Try to buy a house or rent a house in Kiryas Joel by being absolutely explicit that you are non-Jewish. You are not a Jew.
And get an appraisal done on the value of the house and offer the person triple.
But make sure to emphasize you are not Jewish. That is part of this thought experiment.
Right.
Okay.
I think there'll be people. I think there'll be a lot of people that would sell for that.
Okay. This is an interesting bet.
Do I know? No, I'm not betting. I don't bet. I don't gamble.
Okay.
But do I know? I don't know. Try it.
I think you do.
I'm telling you right now. You think Lakewood is a Jew-only community? Giving me $10 million.
Kiryas Joel for sure.
Give me $10 million. I think if anyone on our block $10 million. Anyone blocks around $10 million.
Well, yeah, sure. They take the $10 million and go to Jackson and start buying out those houses, probably, right?
They buy a house.
I just said buying out those houses.
You said a person will go buy a house.
Yeah, if I offered you $10 million in Lakewood, you have a $1 million property in Lakewood, you're going to take that $10 million.
Go buy a house.
And go offer double whatever the value in Jackson and just migrate.
Buy a house, right?
That scenario probably won't
not buying out the houses or not conspire. They would buy a house.
Okay, what about the shtickle pioneer? Are you familiar with that? You said it's not conspiring.
Using Yiddish words. Now we're really in trouble.
Shtickle pioneer.
Shtickle pioneer. Right.
There was a conference, I think, in Lakewood, where several rabbis, several members of the Jewish community said, we pulled the video.
I didn't say no, I just don't know.
You said it's not conspiracy, they're not buying up houses, it's buying one house, but if there's upper leadership saying, go buy up properties in these areas, is that not a group coordinated effort to take over an area?
They're saying...
There's religious leadership telling me to go be a shtickle pioneer and penetrate a certain community and begin buying a house. Take the courage to buy a house.
Right.
Pave your way.
Okay.
Because we want to make our presence be known and make that a hub. Is that not essentially a takeover?
People have a right, it's a legal right, to offer as much as they want to offer.
I know, but you said it's not a conspiracy. They're not working together. It's not individuals.
You made the accusation. May I make a response to it?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
People have a legal right to buy in any neighborhood they want, and as long as people with a home don't break any laws, they have the legal right to take or not take the money. Now, I explained to you before, we do have a religious need to be congregated together. So if there's an area that they think might be conducive to, because we have an expanding population, we have a right to try to buy homes in that area. And if we think that there's by the way, even in Jackson's a huge, huge township. There are Orthodox Jews in New York that wanted to move to Jackson, but moved many miles away from where the Orthodox Jews are. But they need a concentration of Orthodox Jews so they can have 10 people to pray with together. So what they do is a bunch of neighbors go try to buy homes in one little cul-de-sac or a few block areas they could be together. You say that's wrong.
I'm not saying it's
I
wrong. I'm
don't
saying
know.
it's a fact, right? There is a coordinated upper leadership indicating to some members of the Jewish community to go in there and buy up a bunch of houses.
Say coordinated.
But it is coordination.
They're-
It's a whole seminar and a whole group meeting of go be a civic pioneer, right?
There's
It's not a one-off.
There's 120,000 Orthodox Jews on Lakewood. How many were at that meeting you're talking about?
I don't know.
Probably not many people compared to 120,000 Orthodox Jews. And of the people that there's, we don't.
But you're saying the median.
One second.
Which a
The
minimum of-
Hasidic groups, each group follows the directive of the one rabbi. We're more like herding cats, us yeshivish litvish. We have many different people and follow many different people and try to live our lives according to the Torah law. So there's no grand conspiracy. Was there some meeting? Could have been. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not doubting it.
Okay.
So what? So what? There's one meeting. 120,000
Well,
people.
it's not. So what? You said it's not a coordinated. You said it's not a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying it's a coordinated meeting with a singular objective to penetrate and dominate certain areas. And by dominate, I mean physical presence,
to start
ownership of realty.
buying so in that area they think is going to be conducive to living a life there. And if they want to offer them money, people want to sell their homes, they're allowed to do it. Is that where the vast majority of Orthodox Jews were not at that meeting? I don't know how many people were there. I can just tell you the vast majority were not at that meeting or any other meeting. And if there were a few rabbis there, we're not. I never heard of the meeting, but I'm not saying it didn't occur. But they're not putting out a decree that we're all conspiring. You know,
I think some of it's natural, of course, right? Once a place becomes more like you want it to be, you want to move there, and then people just naturally flow over.
Because that is what I said. The religious need for religious schools, for synagogues, Orthodox synagogues, and to be able to walk to the synagogue and to have kosher establishments that we can eat. Yes, we have a need to congregate in geographic areas. And people want to try to start buying somewhere else and see if it gets a critical mass or not. Fine. I used to live in Yardley, Pennsylvania, and there were about 14 Orthodox families there, and it didn't work. We just didn't have enough people move in, and some people moved out, sold to non-Jews, moved out, and the community largely, collapsed. I left. Others try to hang on, left, because they want to raise their children in the Orthodox community. So, okay, you got it.
And the same logic, secular people might want to raise their kids in a non-Orthodox Jewish community, right?
That's their right.
I agree. It's everyone's right.
Yeah.
I'm not debating the legality of that.
Hey?
I think the question would be, is there a violation of fair housing, right? Is there actually discriminatory transaction of homes? Like, can a Jew or can a non-Jew buy a property in some of these areas like Curious Joel?
So
I think the answer is probably no, but you're going to argue legally it is yes.
I'm telling you, Curious Joel I've never been to, so I don't know it that well. But I told you right now, I live in a solidly Orthodox community. How much money did I say you give me for my home, and you can have it right now?
10.
10.
Okay.
10 million.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Get it up. Get that money. Yeah. Start saving your nickels, and yeah.
Save my shekels and collect it. Start adding up, right?
Right. But the deal's good for the next week, because I don't want you to show up 5 years from now, and who knows where my life is at that time. Maybe I don't want to move. Okay.
All right, I'll save my nickels.
But the point is, you would always something.
I'll save my nickels.
Sure. Go on to the other.
Please, list all the objections. Yeah.
Okay. At 1:40, 1 minute 40 seconds, you say, quote, I'm not sure, I think you have to check up the exact wording. I'm not sure of the schedule exactly, but 9 o'clock sharp, they're not at work. They're not at work.
Reference to standardized 9 to 5 working hours. Basic Goyim mentality. 9 to 5 standard working hours.
This nation has 9 to 5 working hours for regular first shift employees. There are food establishments that open at noon because they don't serve breakfast;
Sure.
they only serve lunch.
I think we explore that later.
And they go until midnight. So that you said there are, there are doctors' offices, some that don't open till 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
This is minute one of the video, 40 minutes long.
Yeah, so let's go on. You can see why that doesn't show anything.
My initial surprise and confusion as to this natural, different way of life. Oh, it's not even like, where are they? What are they doing? 155,
he said, quote, "The Mexicans out here are doing the hard labor, and the Jewish people, I'm not sure what they do," end quote. As I told you,
the Mexicans were exclusively, with the exception of one guy I saw, I think a foreman with a hard hat.
Right.
That was Jewish. Which
so first of all,
by the way.
we're talking about, I'm saying Mexicans, I'm saying Hispanics doing construction work. Welcome to America. Welcome
That's fair.
Welcome to 30 or 40 million.
Yeah, but while the majority of people there are Jews that live there, the majority of the construction labor force was Hispanic, for instance.
And I'm going to guess throughout the United States, in a lot of areas, not every area, a lot of areas, that is the case.
Okay.
Right? Okay. You don't have to agree with me, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the homes being built are not being built by the Jews, said, like the Amish would be building their own homes.
He said, and the Jewish people, I'm not sure what they do.
What do they do?
Doctors, lawyers, business people, secretaries, running stores, working in stores, working in warehouses. There are guys who, they're working warehouses. They're pushing boxes along. You said B&H Photo. You said, is that what you said?
Yeah,
really?
Wine said. But
do they have people? They have
guys come to drive the buses, run the shops.
Exactly.
I said, okay, how do they afford to get
but
the
when you're
shops in the
standing,
first place?
but when you're standing outside on the corner, you don't see Jews working because they're not standing around on the corner. They're at their jobs. Matter of fact, you saw a Orthodox Jew driving a bus. I think you yelled at him about his driving or something or whatever.
Yeah, he's a terrible driver. Terrible driver. He should lose his license to drive a school bus.
Okay, but the point is.
We acknowledge these people driving buses though.
There's a
40-minute exploration of a place.
While you're standing around in the freezing cold, right, in the winter time, snow and ice around, during the working day, and you don't see Orthodox Jews working, it's because they're working. They're not standing around on the street.
I was entering nearly every building there. So either they commute to work in a different city, which may
you entered shul, the synagogues. Right?
I was talking and arguing with people all day throughout the entire day for multiple days.
I saw you standing on the street for most of the time talking to people. You'd go to some stores.
And then I'd go in the shuls and say, hey, how do you afford to come in here and pray? And some of them said, yeah, I work in different hours and I pray. And that's what we learned.
Right. And
some of them definitely work. I'm saying some of them claim to not work at all. I don't know what percentage.
I think in terms of the Hasidim, most of the Hasidim work. Not during the first 2 or 3.
Sure.
The men during the first 2 or 3 years of marriage, they're generally running full time, and their wives are working. Once they have, I don't know the number, 2 kids, 3 kids, then the wife stops working to take care of the kids. The man goes to work.
And a certain percentage goes on to study the Torah full time.
There's a small percentage they study full time.
Yeah.
Absolutely full time.
That's
and
right.
I pointed out.
Which a guy explains in our video later on.
And if I go down this block, I mean, like I said, certified public accountant, worked at one of the big 4 firms. He owns a bicycle shop, works in it every day into the night. Teachers.
I don't think this is a Jew thing. I think this is in this case, a certain community with mostly Hasidic Jews that happen to have there's totally different lifestyles.
But I think they're totally different lifestyle, but I think they're working. I think most of them are working.
Okay.
Which is why you didn't see 40,000, you didn't see thousands and thousands of people in the synagogue all day long.
We saw a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you were saying, I'm not debating there's some part-time employment or full-time employment somewhere.
And the Mexicans doing construction, again, like I said, welcome to America in the 2025, 2026, 2020.
Okay.
2 o'clock, at 2 minutes. You ask a guy in the street, what do most people do for work out here? End quote.
Okay.
And I'm saying, it's not fair to think that a guy you just come to the street is going to know all the jobs and professions that in a community of 44,000 people that people are doing.
Why not? You could easily go into a town like, let's say, somewhere in Michigan, go to Detroit, Motor City. It's known for having a particular industry where they manufacture cars. And if it's not a predominant industry, then explain the many industries. How can it be that hard to explain what people do for a living?
I think there's lots of people you meet on the street who haven't thought.
Go to Manhattan, okay. There's lots of
No.
financiers and banking and all
Okay,
this.
we're talking about.
But it'd be very easily.
You go to people on the street, you get all types of people. They're walking, they're going somewhere, they're doing
Sure.
something, and they haven't necessarily thought to answer the question of what does everybody do? What
I'll
are
make
the
it
different
easy. What
jobs?
do you do for a living? That's what I'd ask the guy then.
Okay, and
And then he'd give me an answer.
I don't remember.
Or he'd say, I have no job. My wife works and I sit at the Torah.
So these probably newly married in the last 3 years or so, and then that's an honest answer.
Yeah, I think
And his
we got
wife
that
is
answer in
working.
the video too.
Right, and his wife is working. Okay, so
Okay.
You said, how many hours a day do you pray?
Yep.
And at 2:25, 2 minutes 25 seconds, somebody said 3 hours a day. At 9 minutes and 30 seconds, a man says the prayers go from 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight.